All right, so this project, this is going to be for a fun bike. It's a steel frame. I'm changing parts off of my Sherpa. Basically going to be changing the handlebar and probably the stem. I have a Nito stem I just put on. It's nice and extra long. I want to put myself in a more comfortable position, so a little bit more upright. This is going to be a bike that I can jump on and cruise to the grocery store, liquor store, downtown, whatever, go grab a drink, get some coffee, and then throw a rack on the back. You know, I want to take any bags off my back, put it on the rack, maybe even on the front as well, but right now I got something for the back, just to make it a fun go-getter, get back on the bike more. So I'm going to be changing out this whole system here, handlebars, stem, so I'm going to be taking that off. So I'm going to keep the existing stuff here. I have a grip shift, got typical brake lever, got cantilever style brakes, all that stuff's going to come off. Slide handlebar out, and then stem, and then we're going to be putting on a Nito that's extra long and tall, along with some bars that somebody gave me. So this bike here, it's a Trek limited edition. I'm not sure what number it is. Full chromoly. It's a Jetta, and it's got a little Volkswagen symbol right here. So back in, I think it was the mid 90s, late 90s maybe, if you purchased a Volkswagen Jetta right here, then you got a free bike along with the bike rack. And this is no slouch. This is a pretty nice one. I don't know my Trek numbers. It could be a 970 or something like that, but it's steel, it's chromoly. So this is a Sherpa comp. It might have some value. I think back in the day it was a decent bike because it came with decent components. This one also has a chromo, Tangy MTB double butted, made in Taiwan. I got this frame and fork for about 25 bucks off of Craigslist, and had a student a couple years back. Shout out to Jason. He, about halfway through his 70-hour class, he felt pretty confident about building stuff, so we took this frame, I gave him a bunch of parts, threw them on the floor, he picked out what he needed, built this bike up, and once I rode it, I actually was impressed. It felt pretty good. That following year, I think, or the next year, I rode it up on what we call a turkey day ride. So it was about an hour and a half ride straight up a dirt hill and then back down, so it actually rode pretty nicely. But I went ahead and trying to make this bike more comfortable, got a taller Nito stem, some, I'm not sure what style bars these are, but somebody gave me these. Trying to get more in an upright position. All this, the bar and handlebars, or stem and handlebars, are going to go over to the Jetta, so let's do that. So I'm actually not going to go through too many close-up different angles like I usually try and do. We're going to keep this a bit far, but I'm going to kind of talk and explain and as I go through things. So it doesn't matter what bike I start with. I either strip down the other bike or this bike here. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and take everything off the, let's see, we need to take, I'm going to be keeping the levers and the shifters. So all that stuff has to come off. So that means the grips have to come off, and then the shifters and brake levers can come off. And then I don't need the handlebar, so that can stay connected to the stem. But we need to get the stem out of the bike. So we'll just go ahead and disconnect that, take that apart. So if the grips, some of these grips will just slide off. If they do, great. If not, this one's coming off pretty good, but get a long thin screwdriver. I have an old screwdriver that has a real blunt end used for stuff like this. Just careful not to poke yourself. Don't poke through your grip. If you want to save your grip, come out at a slight angle, slide in there. And if you need to, you can get some squirt, some water. I keep a bottle of soapy water, just a little bit of dish soap in there. You can give it a squirt in there and it'll start to kind of run, and then it'll twist. This guy will twist off much easier. And then, but if you got an air compressor, then you can just use that air nozzle, peel back a piece, shoot it in there, kind of let it blow up like a balloon, and then gently massage it off. And then with these grip shifts, they have a little plastic bushing right here. Hang on to this. We need that for shifting purposes. That way the shifter doesn't bind on your grip. This plastic will help it slide smoothly. And then when you put everything, taking everything off, line it up on your table nice and neat, in order, left side, right side if you want. Just make sure small parts don't find their way off the table. So the grip's actually pretty tight, so I got my screwdriver slid in there. Careful not to scratch your bars or go through your grip or go through your hand. Oops. And I'm going to squirt just a little bit of water inside there. In there and not on the floor. If you rotate this around, it'll move the water around, and maybe you could keep that screwdriver in or pull it out, but there we go. That grip slides off nice, and it's water, so this will dry pretty quick. And there's your other plastic O-ring or bushing. And I'll give that a wipe. And then with these grip shifts, it's typically a 3mm. So you can go to your L tool, you can go to your T handle, or if you have a 3-way, great. So I got L handle, 3-way, and I also have a T handle. So these three, wherever your tool's going to work best. So if your tool gets in the way and hits something, go to the next tool or whatnot. But this one's got plenty of room, so I can go ahead and use the 3-way on this guy. So this is a 3mm. Loosen that screw just enough. There we go. And if this guy doesn't want to slide off your bar, turn your bars appropriately. If your cable's on the right side, turn your bars to the right, and then you can slide that off. It's going to give you more space to work with. And then we'll do the next one. So the main thing to keep in mind, I guess, with this, if I'm going to go up a lot higher, I might find that my cables are too short, so you might have to extend your cable and your housing. So that's going to be a bit much work, a little bit more work, but that's goes with the territory. And now we can go ahead and grab my other 3-way, which is a 3, 4, 5, and 6. Using a 5mm, pretty standard, very popular on most bikes, 5mm. So we can slide that guy off. Boom. And again, if you're having trouble sliding this off. All right, again, if your brake or your shifter's your cable's too short, go ahead and turn it to the left or right side, whatever's going to buy you some more cable to use. And this guy comes off okay. And this one actually has a connection right here where your headset is. So there's another cable stop there. So you can pull that out. If it doesn't want to come out, go ahead and do the quick release on your brakes. Popped out by itself, but squeeze your quick release, open that up. That'll buy you some more real estate, some more length there. So that's free. So now this guy's completely free. We're going to take the stem and the bar off all as one unit. Go back to my 3-way. This one is a 5mm. So some time ago, I went ahead and I bought an adapter system. So I bought basically it was an extension. I wanted to go a little higher. So it's an adapter that goes into, it's like a Quill style. So it's a 1-inch going into the frame. And then it allows me to go ahead and put on the other style of stem, the clamp style. I'm not sure what the heck it's called, but anyways, actually, so that's taking that guy off. So let's take off this whole thing. So the top here allows me to, so unloosen that. So we're unloosening this top nut. It's like a Quill style. Instead of a Quill style stem, it's a Quill adapter, and it slides out. And here we have our little wedge here at the bottom. Now, if this was stuck, it didn't want to come out, once you unloosen this several times, doesn't have to come out completely because you want to use it. And then you can stick something in there, give it a whack, hit that bolt, and you're just going to jar this wedge loose, and then this thing will slide right out. So this has been in there maybe about a year or two, but it has a fair amount of grease, so it came out real easy. So right now I don't have to worry about my fork falling off from the bike because this is a threaded headset. So when this tube comes up, I got some bolts here, basically screws onto it, attaches it, so it's held in between your head tube, so it's not going anywhere. So we'll leave this guy alone, and then we'll go ahead and bring that Sherpa over here and strip it down and start putting stuff back on. All right, same thing here. We're stripping the handlebars because we're leaving the shifter and the brakes with this bike, so no need to disconnect your cables, housings, anything like that. But we want to free all this stuff up. So we have a grip right here. This grip has 2 clamps on it, and this clamp is either a 2.5 or a 3mm. So I'm going back to my 3-way. Yeah, this one here is a 2.5. And with this clamp style, we're just loosening a little bit. And then we'll go to the second one. loosen that guy. And then we can go ahead and pull this guy off. Now, if you have an end plug and it's hitting your end plug, if you pull hard enough, it'll go right past it. It'll pull it off. In this case, my end plug is real small, so it slid right off. So we'll take that off. Go ahead and loosen up my brake lever since that's next. Another 5mm. And these bolts shouldn't be that tight. If you do it tight enough, you could bend your bar. Usually I do it tight enough to where you can just maybe barely get this to budge if you pulled real hard. Some guys like to leave this really loose, so if they crash, it moves rather than breaking your handle. So I'm gonna slide this guy off. Whoops. Oh man, just accidentally hit that clamp and it opened up. Don't really care for that style clamp. So I'm gonna turn my bar to my left and go ahead and pull that guy off, boom. And then we have our shifter, another 5mm hex. Loosen that just enough. This guy will slide right off as well. Boom, turn it to the left, get some more cable length, nice. And then for the other side, basically same thing. So you might hear some classical music in the background. I'm trying something new. Sometimes it's a little slow for me, but so far so good. If I keep talking, I think I'll entertain myself. So again, a number. I like these 3-ways because they're easy to grab. They fit in your palm nicely. You can get 2 hands on them if need be. So I'm gonna go ahead and loosen up both at the same time, the shifter and the brake. Boom. So again, cable a little short. In this case, it's a front brake cable, so I'm going to disconnect our quick release. That should buy me some more length. There we go. Boom. Boom. Cool. Now we just take this whole stem and handlebar out as a unit. And this calls for a 6mm. I'm going to hang on to it just in case it wants to slide down. Again, if it's stuck, here's where you can just give it a tap, get a little mallet, shock that bolt free. In this case, it's sliding out because I put this in maybe 2-3 weeks ago. And we got plenty of grease there. So now we can move over to the next bike.